me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 133 people in 9 different countries. And it will be awesome. And the theme for all the healings that we've had this month, this is the final healing, group healing for January 2026. The theme is Be Decisive, Clarity, and Action. But then there's more. Strong boundaries with group fear. And chaos. We could have that, having strong boundaries so that external chaos does not become your internal chaos. Right? Thank you so much for my validation. I appreciate that. If other people are watching, feel free to say hi and let me know where you're viewing from if you wish, your weather, little pleasantries like that. So let's talk about what we're doing today. Yeah. So, I had mentioned in one other live stream, maybe 2 different live streams this month of January 2026, that the angels had given me a heads up about some political dramas that were going to happen this January. Not the specifics, but just that the U.S. political dramas would occur and be significant, which you really don't need to be psychic to predict that one. But so I wanted to report more about where the angels say we're at with that, because at one point they said, okay, we're halfway through the U.S. political dramas of January 2026. And more, of course, has happened since then. So now they're saying we are 75% through the U.S. political dramas for January 2026. Not all U.S. political dramas forever and ever, just this month's political dramas. So, in other words, the 25% that's left is not more horrible than we've already experienced, but there is more, according to the angels. So, I announced that at the start of the healing so that we can clear baggage triggered by that and be centered and empowered and, you know, take that little angel heads up as, you know, nothing to freak out about, but something to obviously be aware of. And that also is not really a shock to anyone that observes U.S. politics. So anyway, so we're 75% of the way through January U.S. political dramas. All right, so enough of that. I don't expect to keep doing that in future months, although who knows? If the angels tell me to say something, I'll say something. Okay, so today. Okay, so I would say the overriding effect that I'm aiming for in today's healing is basically like owning your power and taking action in a balanced, non-resistant way. And action can be, you know, I'm deciding to take a nap. You know, in the sense that I'm using the word action, I just mean like you get clarity on what you need and you do it, you know. So it could be I need to sit and journal, I need to take a nap, I need to, you know, clean the house. but more of like an evolved thing, not just, well, this is what I feel I should be doing, or this is what I better be doing, but like something that's a little more holistic, where you recognize there are other parts of you that would like to do other things, and you kind of are able to explore that rather than shove down certain parts of you, that you can come to terms with, that you're not all one way all the time, you know? And I think in order to have real clarity and kind of like grace, you have to not be at war with yourself. So, so that's the basic gist of it. Is like an evolved, balanced, clear action. So then the specifics, will clear a lot of baggage, a lot of different baggage, fear baggage, self-judgment, self-rejection, where I sort of alluded to that, where it's like, if you feel like, if you feel you should feel one way, or you should accomplish this one thing, but it's not happening, sometimes that is because you're not acknowledging these other sides of yourself. I mean, you can do that in a time efficient way, but the shoving it down and just being like, no, I have to do this, it's not as effective as if you can at least take like a minute or two and just recognize, okay, there's this side of me, there's this side of me. You know, I'm gonna take some deep breaths and rebalance and, you know, make my choice and go for it. But, you know, there's not like that judgment of like, oh, these parts are bad, or these parts are, you know, whatever. Here's Felix. That was a Felix cam. Little typing thanks to Felix. That's a timestamp for later. Be its own chapter later. Okay, so going back to the actual theme. Ugh, boo. So let's see. So the types of baggage I want to clear: fear, self-judgment, self-rejection, repression, denial, and vision blocking baggage. Because I feel like if you have a vision of what's possible and how you can get there, it's very strengthening. Versus if you have no idea, it can be easier to be resistant and like either get lost in passivity and depression, or to like just really resist in a, you know, resist not in that like positive political way, but like in the way where you're like kind of spinning your wheels. You know, if you have vision, sixth chakra vision, non-judgment vision, it's just much easier to move forward with that level of grace that I was talking about, you know, the sort of finesse. So, well, that's one of the types of baggage I want to clear, is just anything that's blocking your non-judgmental vision. So I do want to do a simplified version of meridian healing. And I want to imagine, your meridians as a river, just one river. But it would represent the external pathways, the internal pathways, and the traditional Chinese medicine organs, which include physical organs, but then there are these organs that are not physical organs, like the triple burner and, or Sanjiao and other things. So I want to imagine all of, traditional Chinese medicine energy systems as one river, and unblock and heal it and strengthen it, all that good stuff. There were some specific meridians that I was thinking of working individually, but we'll see if it's necessary. It might not be. I'm trying to do things in a very simple way today and not get mired in, 50 million tiny things that we're going to do. So I might not single out any particular meridians. We'll see. So BBBT is a technique that we did 3 days ago in the first healing in this set, which is bye-bye being tunnels. It's a really simple technique. It's a way to get rid of a certain type of invasive energy that that comes in like through a passageway into your space, and then there's a lot that can come through that passageway. So we're going to just imagine all those tunnels that invasive beings use and melt them away all at once, and the invasive beings kind of freak out as you're doing that, and so they flee back through the tunnel to wherever they went, and then you're still melting the tunnels, and so that's that. So then it's all sealed up and you have a lot less invasive energy in your space. So that I mentioned in the first, 3 days ago, that is, I'm going to call them wow techniques. The wow techniques attract quite a bit of energy, attention. Like spirits can see that you do that and you're like, So it's one of those, any wow techniques, I would say, I would strongly encourage people to do them while they're at home in a private place, versus like on a park bench or in a parked car in a public parking lot, or, especially not driving, but just it's one of those techniques that it's pretty visible to beings. So if you're in a private place, that's fine. But if you're in a public place, you're just like, hey, look at me, and invasive beings would observe that just like angels would, and you'd unnecessarily increase your risk level of, invasive energy wanting to get in your space. But if you do it at home, you're fine. So, assuming you ask the angels to clean out your home now and then, and maybe do like a tricolor soak for your home now and then, and so your home's like fairly safe and fairly private and fairly grounded. So anyway, it's an easy technique, and I did see, as I was reading the energy of those people that filled out the survey, that it did help, and that it would be nice to do it again. So, well, it's super quick and easy too, so that's nice. So that's the basics of it. So we'll see, there probably will be a little bit extra detail that fleshes out as we go. But that's the basics of what we're doing. So I'm going to look at any announcements. I mean, I guess just the basic. So this is the last group healing of January 2026. So the February healing sets and the March healing sets are already on my website. And so you could purchase them. You can purchase them for yourself or loved ones, both. You know, just let me know who you're purchasing for when you buy. There are note fields that you can mention. And if I've never worked with you before, that's totally fine. You're welcome to get a healing set for yourself or someone you care about. What else? If you don't get my news emails on the 15th, just email me and ask to be added to my news email list. I don't automatically add everybody. So if you haven't ever asked me and you don't get the news emails on the 15th, that's why. So just feel free to ask. My email is janet@jwhealing.com, or there's a contact page on my website, jwhealing.com, which you could use to message me as well. It basically just sends me an email. So now let's see about comments, what people are saying in the comments, in the chat. Oh, and if you could give this live stream a thumbs up, and later if you're watching as a video and you haven't given it a thumbs up yet, please feel free to do that. That's my thumbs up for you. Someone says can hear you fine, thank you. Someone says, hey Janet, can see and hear you in cloudy San Francisco, 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Someone says Las Vegas, probably high 60s. Wow. That's wild. If we had high 60s in January, that would be somewhat shocking. Someone says political dramas will go on for 3 more years. Yeah, I don't think it will be as steady. I think there will be, yeah, I don't think it's exactly the way you're implying. I think there will be, yeah. Hey, good evening from Florida. It's 5 to 7 p.m. I'm happy to start the healing. Me too. Someone says, hi, Janet, from cold but sunny Portland. Well, hello to you. Sunny Portland, how about that? Not sunny here. But it's not foggy. It was super foggy all morning. So we don't have any fog right now. That's something. You learn to look on the bright side. Alrighty. It says, hey, Janet, in time, just came home from a bike ride. I can hear and see you from Las Vegas. Congratulations on your bike ride. And it's 57 degrees in Las Vegas and sunny. Well, that sounds good for you, for doing a bike ride. Oh, and hello to my viewers, maybe later, but not now, maybe, in the south and the east of the US, because I guess they're having very extreme weather, lots of snow and ice, etc. So stay safe, guys. Stay safe, stay warm. All right. Yeah, so now we're going to do 3 minutes of quiet. Before I start, and during this 3 minutes of quiet, I will finish my prep and say hello on a telepathic, nonverbal level to the people that purchased this set that I'll be healing, the 133 people in the 9 countries. And then towards the end of that quiet time, I will start the healing. You'll see me go like that. That's how you know I've started the healing. But soon after that, I will talk out loud. So the majority of the time that I'm healing, I will talk out loud and say what I'm doing as I do it. So you could use it as a self-healing walkthrough if you wish, even if you're an adventurous newbie or if you are quite advanced. I would think there would be some good stuff in it that you might be interested in. Okay. Mm. Okay, thanks for waiting. So what we're going to do is regular grounding and also a variation on chaos boundary wall, which is a technique that we've used before. It's a simple way to work all your boundaries that's very low detail or non-technical. Still very effective, but it doesn't talk about, you know, the specific chakras and meridians and blah, 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 energy channels and all that detail. It's just with chaos boundary wall, there's like this flowing gold wall that represents all your boundaries with external chaos. And so here we're going to do a sound boundary wall, which is a sort of a variation on chaos boundary wall. And it just, because I noticed that people have a lot of stress right in there. This is explaining, by the way. I notice people have a lot of stress telepathically. Like there's a lot of screaming, basically, on a spirit level. And so that's stressful. And so if you have good sound boundaries, then you get back your inner silence and your inner tranquility. So we'll combine a sort of a really non-technical way, low detail way to work sound boundaries with grounding. Let's do it. Okay, so first grounding. You have two groundings, one for your body, one for your spirit. They're both wide. They both go down to the core of the earth. So just make your groundings both red or both orange or both yellow, and whichever you prefer, and make them nice and wide all the way down to the core of the earth. So wide out in front of you, wide behind you, all the way down, right? And then you just make a copy out in front of you of your grounding, and you comb through it with gold light from your hands. So you have a hand chakra, an energy center in the palm of each hand, and you have a fingertip chakra, one in each fingertip. And these energy centers generate energy. All chakras generate energy, right? So you just set these with your mind to be a metallic gold color so that your hands are generating gold light that you can use to heal yourself. Okay, so you have your copy out in front of you of your grounding, and you use gold light from your hands to wash out your grounding. Now, why would you do that? Because grounding can block up. Generally, if you don't feel very good, your grounding is blocked. So an easy way to feel better is to unblock your grounding. So you just imagine your grounding. Well, first recreate it and imagine how well it's flowing. And then you can also make a copy out in front of you and wash it out with gold light, wash everybody out. Sometimes the blocks in your grounding can look like rocks. You could just melt those away with gold light. Sometimes the blocks can look like shelves, like big, flat, hard pieces of energy. So again, just surround them in gold light till they melt away. So feel how your body feels now that you've unblocked your grounding a little bit. Breathe into every part of your body. Now, indie grounding is where you use gold light and you run it through the outer surface of your groundings and use that gold light to melt away connections to other people. Because it's great to have friends and family and people you care about, but your grounding is just for you and their grounding is just for them, and it just works better that way. So you want to melt away any connections that you have in your grounding to other people. Because if people connect their groundings, they just tend to clog up faster. So it's just nicer to wash everybody out and make sure nobody's connected to your grounding. All right. So sound boundaries, as I said, is important. It's more relaxing that way. You can have inner peace. And the world is not always peaceful, right? Sometimes there's loud noises, like actual loud noises, people dropping something or, just making whatever sounds, and that can distract you. It could even, be triggering in some way, external sounds. Also, subconsciously, people can make noise, and that can be triggering and distracting as well. So, for example, I I face a window that looks out at the street, and sometimes people, they'll ride their bike by or they'll walk by, and sometimes I don't notice someone who's walking by. Why is that? Because they're quiet. But a lot of people that walk by are very loud telepathically on a spirit level, and I'm very sensitive to that. It doesn't really disturb me to hear them, but it definitely distracts me, and I look up and definitely know. People are just like that. They're just really loud. They don't realize it. They don't understand. If you explain it to them, they would probably have no idea what you're talking about. But sometimes people can be very loud psychically. Maybe they're just sort of complaining about their day and their life, but they're doing it like they're broadcasting to everybody. So what can you do? You can't quiet down all your neighbors. so but you can have good sound boundaries, right? So let's do sound boundaries. So as I said, this is going to be a low-tech way, a very low detail way, very approachable, kid-friendly way to work your sound boundaries, right? So you just imagine a gold flowing wall that represents your boundaries with other people on a sound level. So your ability to not have all that sound be so loud for you. It's sort of like, on the freeway, they might have like tall walls around the freeway so that neighboring houses don't hear so much traffic noise. Kind of like that, except on an energy level, you don't want big concrete walls. You want gold flowing walls so that there's nothing rigid, right? Because flowing is very strong. If something were rigid, it might be resistant, and it might sort of put out a negative energy, like an irritation or something with other people, which might start some conflict unnecessarily. So a nice gold flowy sound boundary wall. And so that represents all the technical aspects of what makes your sound boundaries, which would be having your auras whole and flowing, having your chakras repaired, being grounded, all sorts of things. But we can represent everything that goes into sound boundaries just by imagining a gold flowy wall. Okay, so your gold flowy wall representing your sound boundaries, and just see, are there any gashes? Is there any, like, does the wall not look big enough? And just go ahead and use gold light from your hands and repair any damage to your sound boundaries wall. So that's nice and big and gold and flowy. So it kind of dampens the sound as it comes in. So you can have better focus. Also, what it can do to the sound boundaries wall is it, since their sound communication doesn't come in, you could still hear it, like intuitively, or, more faintly, you could hear it on a spirit level, but their angst wouldn't kind of wash through you. If they're like complaining about their life or something, their frustrations wouldn't come through the gold flowy sound boundaries wall. You might just be aware intuitively that they're complaining about their life, but it's not going to affect you in the same way. So you can use as much gold light as you want, make your sound boundaries wall nice and big and flowing and gold. You can even say, angels, can you help me to have healthy sound boundaries? right? And part of what can make this wall even stronger is you clearing your baggage that triggers when you do hear people. So maybe sometimes when you hear certain sounds or certain spiritual sounds, you know, like complaining or someone who's angry and they're telepathing their rage, maybe that triggers things within you, right? So let's clear the baggage that triggers. So then you can just be mellow and peaceful and focused and not get triggered when you can sort of intuitively tell that people are making a bunch of noise, right? So make a big gold blanket out in front of you and pile onto it copies of your inner baggage that triggers when you hear noises. Okay? And they can be out loud noises or they can be psychic noises, right? So just put all your baggage onto the blanket. Maybe it's from this life, maybe it's from past lives, and just use a lot of gold light and melt the baggage away. You say, angels, if there's any invasive energy making it hard for me to clear this, can you please recycle that invasive energy? Right? And just use gold light and melt these energy blocks. So this is called proactive clearing, right? We're clearing it before it ever gets triggered. Right? We're just sitting here in our nice, tranquil meditation time. So again, big gold blanket out in front of you, put onto it any inner baggage that you have. It could be from this life or past lives, whatever triggers when you hear noises, telepathically or out loud noises. Okay, and just lots of gold light. Could be noises of people arguing. It could be just standard everyday noises. Maybe they're a little loud, whatever. Lots of gold light and just melt all that away. Melt away your inner baggage, the triggers when you hear noises. All right. Good job. So again, check your grounding. See how that is. Precise and flowing. Use gold light and melt away any blocks. That's a really strong downward flow, even in back, even in the center. And again, check your sound boundary wall and just see that it's nice and gold and flowing. And you can look for any defects. Maybe there is a big hole somewhere and just use so much gold light that it repairs. You can say too, angels, if there's any invasive energies interfering with my sound boundaries, can you please recycle them? All right. Good job, good job, good job. Woohoo! So that was a low detail way and or kid-friendly way to work grounding as well as sound boundaries. Without getting into the technical. For those of you that are very fond of technical details, though, I will have a little moment here to mention what are the technical things for sound boundaries. Like if you don't mind the technical stuff and you want to do more on your own with that beyond just the sound boundaries wall, it would be 5th chakra, and which is in the throat, and the 5th layer of the aura. And that would be both astral body, 5th chakra, and astral body, 5th layer, as well as physical body, 5th chakra, physical body. And then also the telepathic mesh in the front, and then the 5th good karma window in the back. Those are the technical. So 5th good karma window in the back, and then 5th, the telepathic mesh, which is in the front here. But that's technical, and I do have videos on that kind of thing. If you need to find them, you can just post underneath in the comment section. For those of you who want more and want to work on that on your own. Sometimes we do that. We do the detailed version in healings. So you should be able. Okay, so we will be doing aura repair, all your 17 auras at the same time. Astral body aura, physical body aura, as well as 15 Wei Qi auras. So let's do it. And it's easy. You repair them all at once. So you don't really have to think about that there were 17. But anyway, they're all around you, right? Like in a big bubble. So your physical body and your astral body are right in the center of that bubble. And so make a copy out in front of you of all your auras, and then of your physical body and astral body in the middle of that, and then your groundings going down to the core of the earth. And use gold light from your hands and comb through all those auras and check for rips. They could be really like deep, sort of like valleys, or they could be, you know, like a circle that goes really deep, like a gash maybe. There could be a whole giant section missing from one of your auras. So you're just sort of detecting like, oh yeah, oh yeah. And then now we're going to repair all of them at the same time. But if you are intermediate or advanced, you can, of course, just repair 1 or 2 auras at a time, like a certain spot that you notice that, you know, some auras are damaged. So you don't always have to only do all of them at once. But let's do it now. So make an image of a rip and say with your intention, okay, well, this rip is representing all my rips that I have right now in all my auras. So it's your composite copy rip. It's a composite copy. So it represents all those rips, right? And so you're going to use sticky gold wax, which is gold light from your hands that sticks to everything that's not you. Sticky gold wax, fill it up, and then the wax sticks to everything that's not you. So you lift it out all at one big chunk and say, angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out the junk all as one big piece. Angels, here you go. So what is that junk? Invasive beings, invasive people, hard objects that got thrown at you. So sticky gold wax, fill it up, lift out all that junk. Angels, here you go. And sometimes you get the gold light really deep in there and it's just not starting to grow back. That means there's a couple extra bits of invasive energy down there. So you say, angels, if there's any invasive energies in the way of this repair, can you recycle them? And it starts to grow. And you can go over the outer surface of your auras, see if you missed any little leaks. You can redo your gold buffer zones. And those are gold buffers that you make that are flowing gold light that you make. You attach one to the outer part of your physical body aura and one to the outer part of your astral body aura. And they help slow the rate of aura damage because you can recreate them in a second. And then someone has to whack through that again. So, let's see. And then your gold mesh spheres. Those are inside your Wei Qi auras. And they generate a lot of gold light. They're what they sound like, gold mesh spheres of gold mesh that are energy, and they generate a lot of gold light. So innermost one, a middle, and an outermost one for each of those Wei Qi auras, and they just keep generating gold light unless they're all ripped up, and then they don't work. So just imagine all those gold mesh spheres, and if there's any gaps, use extra gold light so that the gold mesh spheres grow back. And so it's these continuous spheres of gold light all around you. Beneath your feet as well. All right, good enough. Good job. Change the scenery a little bit. What else? No, I don't want that one yet. Later for that one. How about... Yeah, that's nice. Okie dokie. One sec. A little wardrobe change. Okie doke. So your creative rings are up here, 1, 2, 3. And they are gold and they generate gold light unless they are all messed up and banged up and damaged, and then they don't. So you want them repaired so they can do their job and generate gold light. You want them repaired also so that it's hard for people to cord them. And because if people cord them, they can send their energy into them, and then the energy's got to go somewhere. So it's going to probably go down into your major chakras, and that's very disorienting, makes it hard to focus, hard to sleep. So you would just make a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings and use gold light and repair them. Look for any little chips missing. And another thing, even if there's no chips, they can have their flaps open. So creative rings as well as chakras have flaps. So like this is a basic shape of a chakra, an open cylinder, and the flaps would be around the round openings for a chakra. And with a creative ring, the flaps are around the outer surface of the ring. So this is like a top-down view of any of the 3 creative rings. So this is how you don't want it to look. This is where the flaps are open. It's like an irritated state, right? So you want to melt all the cords and repair enough so that the flaps relax and fall shut. So it's a nice smooth ring. So then it's harder for people to cord you. So just be aware of your creative rings, and if you have flaps open, and melt away cords. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings cording my creative rings, can you recycle them? And you can have people cording your creative rings too, but that's a very invasive thing to do. So just use gold light and melt them away. It's generally subconscious. People don't realize they're doing it. So just melt everybody away, melt the cords, use gold light. All right. So we'll do a little unblocking with Sticky Gold Wax. So we did use that in the aura repair. A gold wax is just gold light that you create that sticks to whatever's not you, right? So just sticky gold wax your creative rings in and around them, around the outside, above and below, and have it stick to everything that's healthy and gentle to get rid of, and then move the wax out with the junk and say, angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax again. Sticky gold wax, your creative rings. Have it stick to all the junk. Lift that out. Angels, here you go. So just a little extra repair. And you may have energy blocks above and below your creative rings. And those are good to melt too. You say, angels, if there are any invasive beings courting these energy blocks, can you recycle them? All right, good job, good job. All right. Okay, so all your chakras, what does that mean? That's all major and minor chakras of your body and spirit. So every chakra that you have, every energy center that you have. So the major chakras are 7 and 7. You have 2 sets of 7 chakras along your spine, 1 set along your physical spine and 1 set along your astral body spine, or you as a spirit. Then you have a ton of other chakras. All these little acupuncture points, those are little chakras. And them in the back too, of course. Head to toe. And you have energy centers just around every major joint. Just keep the energy flowing. Lots of energy centers. So this is the basic shape of all the energy centers. It's an open cylinder shape. So you can just create an image of an open cylinder and say with your intention, okay, well, this represents all my chakras of my body and my spirit. And then as you use gold light to repair and unblock and melt cords, you're doing that for all your chakras. Right? So just melt cords, melt baggage, repair damage. Let the flaps relax. Remember, flaps, you have flaps that look like that when they're irritated and open around each of the round openings of your chakras. So you want the flaps to be shut, relaxed and shut, so that your energy goes through, but it's harder for people to cord if there aren't all these little flaps sticking out. Right? So just gold light. And remember, I talked about at the start when I was discussing concepts for today that we were going to be working like own your own power, non-resistance, action, but from a place of balance. And so we could lift out any energy blocks in your chakras causing you to be in resistance. So lift out, resistance as in like stuck, spinning your wheels, resistance. So lift out the resistance energy blocks in your chakras and just use so much gold light to melt it away. Lift out the resistance energy blocks in your chakras and use so much gold light that it melts away. Couple deep breaths. Lift out the resistance energy blocks in your chakras. Melt them away. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with my chakras, can you recycle them? Lots of gold light. And again, our theme, we have a lot of themes, but one of them is about group fear, having strong boundaries with group fear. So you can lift out any baggage that makes it hard for you to have boundaries with other people's fear. So lift that out and just melt it away. Lift out the fear baggage, your own fear baggage, or anything that triggers when you're around other people who have fear. Lift out all that baggage and use gold light. Melt it away. Of course, you do want the intention. I would suggest that you're going to do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. So again, lift out the fear baggage of yours that's healthy and gentle to lift out. And then use so much gold light. You say, angels, if there's any invasive energies in the way of this clearing, can you recycle them? So much gold light that it melts away. All right, good job. Okay, so we're going to repeat it the way we did 3 days ago in the first healing, where it's a low detail version. So it could be considered kid friendly or just I'm not in the mood for detail, Janet friendly. Just when you just don't want to deal with complexity. Okay, so we're going to work all this important back ahead stuff, but in that sort of simplicity, don't get technical on me kind of way. All right. So the first thing we can do is make a big red grounding for the base, the whole base of your skull area, the whole back of your neck. So just imagine a big red grounding that goes from the back of your neck, the back of your skull, all the way down to the core of the earth. Right? And then you can use gold light and comb through that grounding and just encourage yourself, hey, I can let go. Anything that stresses me, I can let go. So just wash out everything that's not you from the back of your skull, back of your neck, all the way down to the core of the earth. Wash it down with gold light from your hands, right? From set your hand chakras and your fingertip chakras to metallic gold color. Use that gold light to wash everything down. And you do have important energy centers back here. So you can just use that red earth energy, bring it back up and soak the back of head energy centers and meridians with a lot of red earth energy. And then you have some important stuff back here too. Say if this is the back of your head and then this is your auras back here, your auras wrap all around you, right? So this whole back area is a lot of important stuff. So we can just wash it out with gold light and let the gold light repair whatever needs repairing. You don't really have to think about the detail, right? So from the back of your head, back of your neck, all the way back to the edge of your auras, all this whole area, gold light, lots of gold light. And, be aware, what does it feel like as you comb through back here? Do you feel confusion? Do you feel some fear? Do you feel just like radio static? And just use lots of gold light. You can bring up red earth energy, just soak that whole area in red earth energy and gold light. Wash it all out. And just melt away anything that disturbs your peace. Melt away anything that disturbs your focus and your serenity. So just use gold light and wash away whatever's not you and whatever's not peaceful back here. And this is one area where you bring in new energy. So you want the new energy to be positive and uplifting for you, right? You want to think positive thoughts and motivate yourself and sleep well and feel good when you wake up, right? So this important area back here, just surround it in so much gold light that you're melting away the negativity. Melt away the negativity. you so much gold light and melt away anything that's negative, anything that's stressing you out back here. Just melt it away. Sometimes we shove stuff back here that we don't want to think about because it's unpleasant. But that's not very smart because back here is an important space, right? It's better to melt away what's unpleasant rather than to store it back there, right? So just find anything that's unpleasant back here, unpleasant to you, and just melt it away with so much gold light. And if there's some unpleasant stuff back here that doesn't melt, then just wrap it up in gold light, like a big gold blanket, and give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? Again, anything that's stressful, confusing, at all unpleasant back here, just wrap it up in gold light and give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? And once again, comb through your back of neck area, back of head, and behind there in all your auras, and just melt away whatever stresses you out. You can bring in new positive energy of yours. All right, wonderful job. Woohoo! Yay! Yay! All right. So now we will do the geeky version of it. Right? Which is good karma windows, base of skull points, and the five of your 17 auras. 5 of your auras are especially key back here. So we'll unblock and repair those extra. All right. So good karma windows, the geeky version of that, we already did repair them in the low technical way, but each one is a triple frame window. There are 7 of them, and they're in your astral body aura. They're sort of like back doors or back windows, I guess, into your astral body energy system. And so the shape of them, if you want to know, is like this, like a triple frame window. So you have 7 of those. So you just use gold light and you repair each one and just use your intuition and think, okay, well, is this one safe? Is this one safe? Is this one safe? And if you feel that one is kind of leaky or kind of like there's a weird bushy cloudiness around it, that could be invasive energy, which could be just your neighbor, or it could be just some random invasive being. But you can just say, angels, can you help me clear this out? As you use gold light. And just repair that triple frame window shape so that it's not so easy for somebody to get back in there. And just repair all of them. Again, use your intuition. There might just be 1 or 2 that need repair, or maybe a whole bunch of them need repair. Maybe all of them need repair. Chances are, if you're very overwhelmed, that this would be one spot that is needing repair. Why it's one of the 5 essentials that we do at the start of every healing. And even when they are repaired, it's pretty cool. Like the more you unblock that area, it helps you to be more present. So say you feel like you're not taking enough action in your life. Taking action a lot of times is a 3rd chakra thing. Not always, but often. So finishing projects, starting projects, that kind of thing. So you can look at your 3rd good karma window and around there and see maybe if you have a bunch of energy blocks that you could melt away to help you take action. A little more unblocking around your 3rd good karma window to help you take action. And part of what I was talking about at the start was like being balanced and accepting yourself, like not judging yourself in an unhealthy way. So fourth chakra, number 4 in your chest, helps with that. So the fourth good karma window back here could help with being more present and having more self-love, self-acceptance, compassion towards yourself as well as others. So it can help you to make, to have motivation, also like self-care, help you to make healthy choices because you value yourself, you value your health. So we're unblocking the fourth good karma window back there just a little bit extra. To help you to bring in new positive change energy for your fourth chakra, self-love, motivation, team, all that goodness. Now, part of the theme too, we said, was having healthy boundaries with group fear, right? And we made quick reference to political dramas, and they can, of course, trigger fear and worry in people. So one way that we can, have a healthy approach to that is to do some extra unblocking of the first good karma window right there. So that, because your first chakra at the base of the spine has to do with courage and safety and abundance. So not only being safe, like physically safe, but also energetically safe. And so that can translate also into sometimes your health. So we could just do some extra unblocking of your first good karma window, which is right there in your first layer of your astral body aura. So just melt away any blocks that could be interfering with your abilities to have abundance and safety. All right, good job. So that was just, we did good karma window work, especially the third and then the fourth and then the first. Now we'll do a little bit of base of skull area. And then the 5 auras that are most relevant for that area. How do you determine the 5 auras that are most relevant for that area? Well, it's always going to be astral body aura and physical body aura, but then it's going to be whatever meridians are in that area. That though they're Wei Qi auras, which go all around you, but those Wei Qi auras that relate to the meridians that are right there are going to be pretty key for this area. So those 5 auras, astral body aura, physical body aura, plus governing vessel meridian, urinary bladder meridian, and gallbladder meridian. And again, this is technical stuff. If it's too much, you don't have to think about the names and everything. You can just think, well, I'm going to unblock whatever auras are important back here. Or I'm going to unblock all my auras back here. Right? There's always a low technical version you can do. All right. The base of skull, there's the diagram. So those 2 rows, 2 horizontal rows of points, those are the points that I'm going to be unblocking, especially right now. Those points are little chakras. Midline one, that's governing vessel meridian. All these meridians, you want them to be like red flowy tubes with your red flowy life force in them. The red flowy life force of your spirit and your body. So just use lots of gold light. And then the yellow lines there, that's urinary bladder meridian. And again, it's just yellow in the diagram, but red is a great color for all these meridians on an energy level. So just use gold light and melt away any blocks. Let the chakras expand because they can get really stuck and compressed and tiny. You want nice, unrestricted, flowy red tubes with flowy red life force in them. Oh, and if you want, I just I don't know a lot about it, but I heard that oh, what's it called? Scalp overhead massage, something like that, where you like move your scalp around. You like move it. You press in and kind of move your scalp around. That if you do that for a minute or two each day, it's supposed to really help your blood flow to your head, basically, and your skin and your hair follicles. So for anyone who's experiencing hair loss or hair thinning, look that up. Scalp overhead massage, I think it's called something like that. Scalp over. Yeah, I could post a video link if anyone needs it. You could just ask me about it in the comments. Anyway, so, and then the green line there, that's gallbladder meridian. Helps with self-assertiveness. Use so much gold light that it's not compressed anymore. And that one goes back here. Well, it starts around here and then zigzags a bunch around the head, and then it goes back, and then it goes over the neck and top of the shoulder, and then it zigzags down the body. Just really quickly unblock the sides of your gallbladder meridian, Wei Qi aura. So again, your gallbladder meridian, that side ahead one that goes, but you see it a little bit there in the base of skull points, that green blue line right there. In the back, it's in the side of your head. And all down the sides of your body. All right, so we just did a little bit of the gallbladder meridian Wei Qi aura, but we can do all 5 auras at once in that region behind your neck and behind your head. All 5 auras, meaning astral body aura, physical body aura, which are important everywhere always, and then the 3 Wei Qi auras for these meridians: governing vessel, urinary bladder meridian, and gallbladder meridian. Just like I wrote there, GV, UB, and GB. Governing vessel, urinary bladder meridian, gallbladder meridian. So just imagine the back of your head and the back of your neck and comb outward and unblock. Melt away the big chunks of blocked energy. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive energies in the way of this unblocking, can you recycle them? And if you have any invasive energies that are back here that are maybe going into your base of skull area, just you can imagine them like ropes maybe, and just freeze them and just drag them out. Angels, here you go. So drag them out. Angels, here you go. Drag them out. Angels, here. All right, good enough. So that was the geeky detailed version of the base of skull, good karma windows stuff. And right before that, we did the low detail version. You could do either or both. Oh. Okay, so that was the end of the 5 essentials. We do them at the start of every healing. right? Grounding, or repair, creative ring repair, chakra repair, and the back of head stuff. So now what? Okay, so all TCM stuff, traditional Chinese medicine is TCM, right? So meaning all meridians, energy pathways in the body, right? The external pathways as well as the internal pathways. So meridians, all the diagrams that I show you, those are the external pathways, the ones on the surface of the skin. Those meridians are just under the surface. Except for when they go under your breasts, then it's in there. It's not right at the those are the external meridian pathways, external as in on the outside of your body, near the outside of your body. But then internal meridian pathways are, deeper in there, and they connect your external meridians to like organs. And so anyway, we want to do the traditional Chinese medicine organs, the physical organs, all the meridian pathways all at once. We just want to unblock them to the extent that is healthy and gentle to do right now, right? So that's what H and G stands for, healthy and gentle, right? So just imagine everything, and including your Wei Qi auras. Yeah. So one river that represents all that stuff, all the meridian traditional Chinese medicine stuff, right? So how does your river look? And you can make it red. Well, it could be white or black or something. But I would say probably the healthiest color for it is red, because it's a body life force thing, and red is a good color for that. But you can notice what color is it right now. And then you can use gold light and red earth energy that you bring up from the core of the earth to soothe and unblock and strengthen this river. And you can sort of admire the strength of it and the flow of it and the resilience of it. That, you go through all sorts of stressors and your body's still going. Kind of impressive, right? And then on the flip side, that you can notice places that are a little bit stuck or maybe a little depleted that you could help, right? So just imagine, look for a clog in your river that represents all your traditional Chinese medicine stuff, and find the clog and use gold light from your hands and melt the clog away. You can say, angels, can you help me do this? And go ahead and find another clog and use gold light and just say, angels, can you help me unblock this? And use so much gold light that you unblock it. And you may notice that other people are corded into the clog. Maybe they mean well, they think they're helping. So just melt away their cords so that you can more easily melt the clogged energy. And there may be, maybe you think, well, as you look at this river, like, I'm not sure, it doesn't seem like it has enough volume in it. It's like a small stream versus a really strong flowing river. So you can look at the start of the river or towards the start of the river. Maybe there's some kind of barrier there that's artificially limiting how much vitality and energy you have in this river. So just look for that kind of unhealthy barrier that you can melt away, that's healthy and gentle to melt right now. And again, find another barrier towards the start of your river that, maybe is limiting the power and vitality of your body. and your energy system, and just melt that barrier, that unhealthy limit. And then you can also add to your river, you know, like nourish it. You can make energy healing flowers or some other kind of energy present for your river. Make it out of universal healing energy. You don't have to move your hands, although I think that's kind of fun to be like, woo, there it is. And, you know, you can set it to a healing vibration for you, which would probably be gold and or any kind of rainbow color vibration or both. And just make it a nice present for your vitality to help, you know, your whole energy system, and say, angels, can you check my presence for myself? And then once your angels have checked it, just give it to your river. And you can also ask your angels, angels, can you please help heal my vitality? And you may have, as you like sort of watch the river, there may be a part of the river where there's something weird going on, like maybe a negative sort of a cave thing that your river's going through. So just find if there's something weird and kind of spooky or negative around your river at any part, just surround it in a lot of gold light, and you can say, angels, can you help me clear this? And then just use lots of gold light. And as you know, take your time with it, you can intuit like, oh, is this from a past life? Have I had it for, you know, several lifetimes? And just take your time and let it melt away. And again, what are we doing right now? We are looking at a river that represents all your traditional Chinese medicine energy systems. So all meridians, all organ systems, all Wei Qi auras. So watch this river and look and see what you can discover, right? And just look, and if you find something that you know shouldn't be there, like maybe it's some weird like snow igloo that your river has to go through, the angels, can you help me clear this out? And then you can use a lot of gold light and just melt it away. So again, you know, one thing about reading is you want to be able to surprise yourself. You want to be able to see something that you didn't think would be there, and learn, right? It's like I've said before, like you're the best book that you can ever read, right? Just reading yourself, right? So don't get hung up on like, oh, I'm not a good reader. Oh, I can't see anything. You know, just run your hand through this river that represents your vitality and your energy systems, your meridians, your Wei Qi auras, all that good stuff. And just use your intuition. See what you feel as you run your hand through this river of yours that represents your vitality. And there could be a part where it's like there's what's that called? It's like a whirlpool, and then it drains out. So it could be that your vitality is draining out and maybe going to another person, or just, you know, leaking out of you because of some damage. So find any like whirlpool kind of leaks or just regular leaks. And if it's a whirlpool leak, there could be invasive energy involved with it. So you can just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive energy around these leaks? And then just use lots of gold light and repair any leaks in your river. And there could be like a tornado, like a spinny tornado around one of your river, around one part of your river. So you can gather up any spinny tornadoes and just say, angels, can you recycle all this? And again, if there are any invasive energies interfering with your river, you could just imagine like a big lineup of them and say, angels, can you recycle all that? All right, good job. Hey, good job, good job, good job. Okay, so this is an easy technique. And it's a way of getting rid of larger amounts of invasive energy that you may have in your space. And just when I want to remind people sometimes when I talk about invasive energy, people are like, invasive energy, that sounds terrifying. But, the thing is, you're this giant, fabulous, eternal soul, and you're really giant compared to this little invasive beings that I'm talking about. So, all the wonderful things you've done in your life, the projects you've finished, the good nights of sleep you've had, the kind things you've done for other people, the kind things you've done for yourself, you've done that all with some invasive energy in your space. It's not like this stuff, it's a life or death matter. It's more of a life enhancement idea, kind of like brushing your teeth. You brush your teeth, and that's really important, and it really pays off in the long run. So that's like what this is. It's just like a way to clean out stuff that might harm your focus or your quality of sleep. It might get in the way of like some good healthy discipline stuff, like eating healthy and all that. And it's easy to clear it out. So that's good too. Okay. So like I said, being tunnels, they're just little tunnels that, tiny invasive energy can come through, and we don't want those because we want you to just have your bubbles, your auras just for yourself, and your grounding, and just, have that sort of closed system just for yourself, nice and flowing and just for you, right? So this is a technique I said that is a wow technique. So I would recommend that you only do it at home in a private location, not like in a public park bench or something like that. Just when you're at home, you're not driving a car or anything. So it's just composite copy technique. So you imagine an image of a tunnel and you say, well, this represents any being tunnels in my space, that I may have that I don't know about, but I might have them. So if I have any, let me just make a composite copy of any being tunnel. And then I'm going to say, angels, help me to do this in a safe and gentle and interesting way for myself, right? And then just lots of gold light. And just drench the tunnel with gold light. Don't even bother, you know, interacting or sending gold light to any invasive beings. Just the tunnels, gold light, lots of gold light. And what that does is it makes these little invasive beings panic and rush out of your space and rush out through the tunnels so that they all leave. And then the more gold light you use, then the tunnels just collapse and dissolve. And that's that. So lots of gold light through this composite copy of a being tunnel. And just keep breathing and chill out. And just enjoy the fact that this is not a panic thing for you. It's just a panic thing for these little pesky invasive beings. So they can panic and rush out, which is good. And then you either just get this intuition like, okay, I've done it enough, or you can actually see that the composite copy just dissolved away and, you know, it's done. So good job. That was all easy. And you could reground if you want. If you feel like that was a little, I don't know, if you'd feel a little ungrounded, just make big, 2 big groundings, same color, red or orange or yellow, all the way down to the core of the earth. Make them nice and wide. Bring them up high as your third chakra, which is below your sternum. Your third chakra is right there. So bring up your groundings that high, and then comb through your groundings with gold light from your hands. Wash out everything that's not you. And if there is any invasive energy in your grounding, it might look like little swirls or little cobwebs or little fogginess. Just scoop it all into one spot and just say, angels, can you recycle all that? You don't really have to scoop it, but I feel like that's kind of bossy in a good way. Like, yeah, I'm just going to scoop it up and angels, can you deal with all that? But if you want, you can just point. Angels, can you recycle all that? So just comb through your grounding and remind yourself it's good to release. Self-release, comb through head to toe and all the way down to the core of the earth. Well, above, from the top of your auras, which is up here, all the way down to the core of the earth, comb through. Remind yourself it's okay to release. It's okay to let go. All right. Good job. I'm going to just be quiet for another minute as I look, because we're going to clear a bunch of energy blocks for a lot of cool stuff. But I'm trying to think of like a more creative, sort of fun way to do it rather than just blanket exercise, because sometimes I get bored with blanket exercise. So hold on. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to walk you through the more creative version of it, which you may enjoy. I think I would enjoy it more. But if you're in a more logical, like non-creative headspace, you could just do blanket exercise, and stack up the energy blocks that represent, fear in your space that cause you to have fear. Stack up your fear baggage. Imagine them as like bricks or rocks or something, and just melt the blocks. So you don't have to imagine them in the creative way that I'm about to describe, but it could be fun if you want. So, okay, so the non-creative way would be, which there's nothing wrong with that, is just blanket exercise. Big gold blanket, pile your baggage onto it, melt it away or blow it up. Okay? But okay, I'm not going to talk about the blanket exercise way anymore because I'm going to do the more creative way. So I'll walk you through it. So, go ahead and imagine you on your spiritual path, and your spiritual path is only for you, right? It represents what you're meant to learn and experience in this lifetime. But sometimes your path can get difficult in a way that's unnecessary, or dramatic in a way that's unnecessary. It doesn't help your learning or anything. And so you can definitely clear off that kind of thing off your path to make your path easier, make your, moving forward less complicated for you, right? So just imagine the part of you that is on your spiritual path. Say hi to that part of you. And see if that part of you can look forward on your path and move forward on your path. And there's no good or bad with that. Just at this moment, can this part of you that's on your spiritual path move forward, see your way forward, that kind of thing. Okay. And then go ahead and imagine, what does your fear baggage look like on this part of you? Like, does your fear baggage look like a heavy rock that you're trying to drag behind you? Does your fear baggage look like a really scratchy sweater that you're wearing? What does your fear baggage look like that's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now? And then go ahead and get rid of it. You can either melt, like if it's a rock, you can use gold light and melt it. If it's a sweater, you could melt it off with gold light, or you could just take it off of that part of you and hand it to your angels. Say, angels, here you go. So whatever, imagine your unhealthy amount of fear that's really good to get rid of right now. What does it look like? And then go ahead and melt it away. It could be a whole bunch of boxes you're trying to push ahead of you. And just melt them all away. All right, take a deep breath. And notice if that has any change effect on how you feel or how that part of you on your path looks. And then the next one we're going to do is self-judgment or self-rejection, which are somewhat similar. So we'll do them at the same time. So say you judge a part of yourself, like, oh, this part of me is so stupid, or, oh, I can be so dumb, or I'm such an airhead, or, gosh, I'm such a loser, or whatever, right? So any self-judgment or self-rejection, just imagine, what does that look like on this part of you on your path? Does it look like chains, heavy chains that you're wearing? Does it look like a big dark cloud over your head? What does it look like for you on your path? This energy that you have in your space, any energy you have in your space that causes you to have self-rejection or self-judgment. And then just imagine it as simple objects, and then go ahead and melt the objects with gold light from your hands. Or if you want, just surround the objects in gold light and hand them to your angels. Say, angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. And just notice, take a deep breath, notice how you feel, notice how your body feels. And how does this part of you on your path, has that changed that part of you at all? Are you moving forward? Are you looking forward? And then another thing I want to do is two things that are pretty similar. So we'll do them together again: repression and denial. So denial is like, oh, I have no idea why I can't go to bed on time. But it's like, you really, if you thought about it, you could journal like the top 5 things pretty easily. But you're just in denial. You're pretending not to know, like ma, right? And repression is pretty similar. It's just like, say you don't want to feel something. So rather than clear it, you could repress it, which is really inconvenient and unhealthy because then it'll just bug you later. So imagine this part of you on your path. And are you looking forward? Are you moving forward? And imagine any unhealthy repression or unhealthy denial that would be good for you to get rid of right now, healthy and gentle. And what does it look like as like simple objects on your path and on this part of you? Does it look like a heavy helmet that you're wearing? Does it look like, some heavy big thing that you have weighing down your shoulders? Does it look like big blinders on that you have, like a horse that has blinders? What does your denial that's good to get rid of look like? What does your repression that's good to get rid of look like? And go ahead and melt it away. Just use gold light. Take your time. Keep breathing. And melt away your denial and your repression that's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. All right. And the final thing that I wanted to walk you through clearing, is anything that blocks your vision. Because I was talking about before the healing started, that vision can be really empowering and strengthening. If you have this sense of like, what is your potential? Like you can kind of see what you can achieve. You can keep that as like a motivational vision. Like, I know I can achieve this. I can see myself doing it. I can see my way forward. I can see what I need to do, right? So go ahead and is there anything that blocks your vision? And what does it look like for this part of you that's on your path? Do you have like literal blinders over your face? Do you have like something wrapped around your face and your head so you can't see? Do you have just some big wall in front of you that blocks your vision? What is baggage or devices or energy from other people that blocks your vision? And just use a lot of gold light. Take your time. You can say to angels, if there's any invasive energy blocking my vision, can you please recycle it? And I just take all these objects that block your vision, give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Angels, here you go. And imagine that space for you on your path. Imagine that space right in front of your face, in front of your eyes, in front of your forehead, and just melt any blocks that you can have inspiring and clear vision. And that inspiring clear vision could be more subconscious. It doesn't mean now all of a sudden you see all your chakras in like perfect color or whatever. It just, vision can be in many forms. So just melt anything that's healthy and gentle to get rid of that's in the way of your vision. And you can notice too, like say if you have a big wall in front of you unblocking your vision, as you're melting it away, you can notice who it's from. But just don't get caught up in like, oh, I can't believe they did that, blah, 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 blah. Just keep your cool. The point is to melt it away. So notice, how do you feel? Do you feel any different? Take some deep breaths. How does your body feel? And as you're aware of this part of you on your spiritual path for this lifetime, how does that part of you look? Does that part of you look any different after you've cleared all this stuff away? And, maybe you need to comfort that part of you and just give a little extra healing, just gold behind you, above you, in front of you on your path. And just say comforting, inspiring things to this part of you. Like, hey, it's okay. We just need to do baby steps. It's all right. You did good. And your angels are always trying to help you move forward on your path. But sometimes if you're stressed, you might forget to let your angels help you. So you could use an affirmation to kind of remind yourself and remind this part of you on your path, I can let my angels help me move forward. Because sometimes you won't have clarity. You won't have, a lot of energy. You won't have, emotional tranquility or something, but you can just by intention, you can let your angels help you move forward and move forward that day anyway, despite all that. So just remind yourself, hey, I'm going to let my angels help me move forward. I am letting my angels help me move forward. All right. Woohoo. Great job. Yay. Okay, so we'll just wrap up the healing with this quick little section. And then we'll take a break. And then I'll come back and do a quick Q&A to finish out the live stream. So go ahead and Clear STEBs is where STEBs stands for stubborn triggered energy blocks. And so it's just whatever's triggered for you, right? So just make a big gold blanket out in front of you and put onto it any energy blocks that are triggered for you right now on any level. So it could be just blocks that make you feel weird or irritated or confused or lost. And just melt those blocks away. The blocks could make you feel overwhelmed. Melt them away. And you can keep putting more out in front of you, any energy blocks that are making you feel not good, You have to know why or who they're from. Maybe they're from a past life of yours. Maybe someone dumped them in your space. Doesn't really matter. Just melt them away. All right. So now legs are so important and really kind of cool energetically. they bring up earth energy. I mean, you also have really major meridians in your legs. But just in a more simplistic way, there's just a big energy channel coming from the arch of your foot chakra, all the way up your legs into your first chakra, and it brings up earth energy. So you can set your feet chakra in the arch of each foot to be a red color, so that the energy it draws up from the core of the earth will come up into your legs at a red color. And then you can imagine a copy out in front of you of your legs and just unblock your legs with red and gold, the red earth energy and gold light. And sometimes you have so much right in front of your first chakra, that it kind of short circuits everything and kind of pinches off the earth energy flow coming up your thighs. So it doesn't actually make it into your first chakra in order to calm you down. So you can unblock the front of your, all your auras right in front of your first and second chakra right here. So right in front here, all your auras, just melt away all the blocks there. Lots of gold light, melt away all those blocks. You can say, angels, if there's any invasive energies in this area, you recycle them. Again, your legs, you want the earth energy, red earth energy, to go up your thighs into your first chakra. So you can unblock the front of your first chakra. You might have some baggage there, kind of plugging it up. You can imagine the front of it and just melt away the blocks. The front of your physical first chakra and your astral body first. Imagine those blocks and use so much gold light that they melt away. You can use a gold bottle brush for your legs. So like a bottle brush that you might use to scrub out like something deep, like a water bottle. You can make one that's long and bends, so it goes all the way through your leg, and you just clean out all the gunk in your leg channels, and then take out that bottle brush, give it to your angels, and make another clean one that's gold, and clean out the other leg. And give that to your angels. See if that helped. You can bring up more earth energy now through your legs. And again, unblock right in front of your first and second chakras. So this area right here, unblock this area. Your aura is right in front there. All right. And your major joints and above your head. So normally I call that your tree trunk areas. If it's sort of like invasive energy could come through like that and then anchor into any of your major joints, like elbows, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. So it looks a little bit like a tree trunk that way. There's the trunk of the tree and then it flares out at the roots, right? So I call these your tree trunk areas, but it's basically above your head and then all your major joints. So just imagine those areas and unblock them. Because if it's flowing, then it's easier, much easier for you to be there and much harder for anything that's not you to be there. So just use gold light and imagine all these major joints like your elbows, your wrists. Use gold light and unblock them. Shoulders, your hip joints, your knee joints, and your ankles. All the cute little joints in your feet. Come through your feet. Gold light. All your major joints. And just like we did back here, if there's any invasive energy that you can sense kind of coming from above into your major joints, you can just grab it like a bunch of ropes, grab it out. Angels, here you go. Grab the invasive energy out with gold light. Angels, here you go. Grab the invasive energy out. Angels, here you go. Grab the energy, drag it out. Angels, here you go. Couple deep breaths. And just be in your joints, your major joints. Hold light up and down your spine. All right. So as we wrap up, you can just ask your angels for to help you finish up the healing. Angels, can you help me with the themes? Can you help me be decisive? Angels, can you help me have clarity and take action in a balanced way? Angels, can you help me have strong boundaries with group fear? And angels, can you help me wrap up this healing? All right, good job. That's a healing. Woo, woo, woo. You're amazing. Woo. Thank you. Okie doke. So, that was the healing. So, I'll take a quick bathroom break and then I'll come back, turn the camera back on, and I'll do a minute of stretching, which maybe inspires you to stretch, maybe it doesn't. And do whatever's healthy and gentle for your body. Everybody's different. And then we'll do a little short Q&A on, if you have follow-up questions about something that was in the healing or some topic that I discussed in the healing. Okay. I'll get rid of the camera so you're not staring at my empty chair while I'm taking a restroom break. All right, I'll be back soon. I am back. So if you want to do some stretching, you could do it if you want. But do your own stretching, whatever's good for you. Hello, hello. Hope you had a good break. All right. So I'm going to check for comments. Let me change this heading. All right. Someone says, hi, Janet, currently in Stowe, Vermont, 6 degrees and heavy snow. 6 degrees. Well, since you're in the US, you're talking Fahrenheit. 6 degrees. Wow. 6 degrees Fahrenheit. Damn. That's crazy. That's so far below freezing. So centigrade, that would be maybe negative 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Something like that. I mean, negative 14 degrees Celsius. Oh. Stay warm. Wear lots of layers. Someone says, hi, Janet. Today I'm falling asleep. Does that mean a lot of unconscious stuff has been put there? It also seems like there is an invasive being at the back of my head. And you're mentioning your initials. Thank you for that. Although I did know in your case who you are, but sometimes I forget, so you never know. No, it's not. There's no such thing as an unconscious stuff put there. Generally, when people fall asleep, I mean, there are two reasons. One, if you fall asleep during a healing, sometimes your angels are just like, I think you'll clear more if you're out of your body for this. And so they'll help you fall asleep. So then you're still clearing and receiving the healing, but you're not conscious at that time, you know. But then the other reason can be that something was triggered and it was just harder for you to stay present, so you pop out. Which is not uncommon when people meditate. You know, I used to it wasn't healthy for me, but I used to drink Assam tea, which was fairly strong as far as black teas, I guess, as far as caffeine amounts, and it was pretty glorious. Totally unhealthy though. I don't recommend it at all. I don't drink it anymore, even though I like complaining that I don't. Poor me, I can't have Assam tea anymore. But anyway, that's why some people drink caffeine when they meditate, because caffeine kind of glues you in a little bit, you know. But if you don't drink caffeine, you could journal while you meditate, and sometimes that helps because then you can, you know, you still might fall asleep, but then when you wake up, you're like, oh, that's what I was working on. Okay, you know. Sometimes like a sleep meditation thing can be nice, you know, assuming you're at home, you're not driving a car, and you're, you know, in a private place and it's okay. You know, like going in and out of a nap and meditating and nap and meditating can be extremely pleasant if you don't, you know, if you have the time for it, you know, it can be very peaceful. And like when you're half asleep, you know, you can do some really cool clearing. Sometimes when you're half asleep, awareness levels might be enhanced. So it's kind of a fascinating thing. So I think there was just some stuff that was triggered that was not, I think at the time that you posted that, we were doing the river representing all your traditional Chinese medicine meridians and Wei Qi auras and all that, and the traditional Chinese medicine organ systems. So it was a pretty thorough thing we were doing. I mean, we were doing it healthy and gentle amount, but it's easy to see that there would be stuff that might get triggered that, you know, maybe you just weren't in the mood to clear. And so you're just like, boop, let me go. I don't want to deal with that, you know? So what I would do is maybe for homework, what you could work on is RAD blocks, resistance, avoidance, and denial blocks, clear resistance and avoidance denial blocks, especially around your body systems, you know, like anything involving traditional Chinese medicine stuff, you know, meridians, traditional Chinese medicine organ systems, you know, because it was that all that stuff is technically body stuff. It helps your mind and your spirit and all that too, but it's, you know, it's body stuff. And so there was some stuff in that you had trouble. You were kind of like, no, I don't think so, and so it popped you out. Obviously consciously you want to clear it, but you know, there were parts of you that were feeling more avoidant and not in agreement with that. And so you just gotta fall asleep for it. So just, you know, you can like purposefully put forward the blocks that part of you was trying to avoid clearing and just clear those. It's a lot easier to just clear stuff rather than avoid it, you know? So yeah, no, I don't think someone did it to you or anything like that. It's just there were some blocks and you weren't ready to clear them, even though they would be healthy and gentle to clear. Part of you was not willing, and so you're like, boop, I'm gone. Bye bye. I'll catch the video. But anyway, yeah, I don't think it's a big, you know, some big negative thing. It's just, you know, some stuff that part of you was wanting to avoid. Invasive being in the back of your head. Well, sure. I mean, we have invasive beings everywhere. So, I mean, that is possible. If there's one invasive being in the back of your head, you're probably doing pretty well. Let's see. I mean, what you could do is, your good karma windows look nice. They don't have any leaks, but if you look at the, you know, the back of head meridians and those auras, governing vessel one seems fine. Urinary bladder one seems fine. I would say yeah. So then the gallbladder one seems like that aura has a little bit of has some blocks in there. So, you know, the gallbladder meridian, for those that don't know, that's the one on the side. So it is in the back of the head, but it's sort of over to the side. And that aura, the gallbladder meridian aura, it goes all around, right? All around. So it just seems like right there's a bunch of blocks in that gallbladder meridian Wei Qi aura that where there are too many blocks, it's just easier for invasive energy to kind of hang out. So you just melt the blocks and ask the angels to, you know, recycle the beings that are on the blocks so that you can melt more and more and more and more and more of them. Doesn't look too bad though. But yeah, so the problem is more the blocks. I mean, I know for you the problem is the being, but the problem is really the cause is the blocks. But all the auras are repaired back there, so it's just blocks. I hope that makes sense. So unblock your gallbladder meridian, Wei Chi aura in the back of your head. Someone says hi from Chicago, 8 degrees Fahrenheit and very snowy. Oh, wow. How much snow do you have so far? 8 degrees Fahrenheit. That's so cold. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Feeling really mellow. Well, that's nice. How did my friends do in the healing? And you give their initials. Thank you. I want to look at their full names just for make it easier for myself. The one who is married, she the part that most surprised her was when we were doing that part where you imagine yourself on your spiritual path and you take off baggage, like you imagine the baggage like objects, and the vision blocking baggage, that like really surprised her, like in a good way, you know. But she took off this thing from around her head and she could see her way forward better, and it almost looks like a cartoon how surprised she is, like it's really cute. I think she's more relieved, you know, because it's like when you can see your patterns more, it doesn't seem so disturbing, you know, when you can see what's going on better. So she did well. She did well. Your other friend, the meridian thing helped her the most, the river thing. Yeah, she's going to work more on that, but that she has a lot going on with her river to represent all her, you know, meridians and stuff. So, but she seemed to like working it. She just was like, wow, there's a lot going on here. So she's going to work more in her sleep with her angels on it. But they did well. Someone says, thank you so much. I feel like a huge part of me let go of something. Yes, you were one of the sample people I was looking at when I designed this because you filled out your survey. Thank you very much. Your post-healing survey. Feel like a huge part of me let go of something that I've been carrying for a while. It now feels like I stopped in my pathway to smell some flowers. Oh, I don't know what is next, but it seems pretty cool. There you go. That's so cute. Yeah, I don't have in front of me which part you were a sample person for, but it was I remember part of it that you were a sample person for was the when we were on the spiritual path and you took off objects that represented certain baggage and either melted it or gave it to your angels. The self-judgment and self-rejection. That was part of it. Yeah, because it's like I think sometimes you expect that you should feel a certain way, or all of a sudden now you should be productive or something. You should be like this whirlwind of productivity, you know, when meanwhile one part of you wants to, you know, take a bath you know, and listen to music, you know, or part of you wants to, you know, and it's like you're like with yourself and all the different, you know, aspects of yourself. Sometimes you can be like a really strict, bossy mom with yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, no, I should really do this right now, you know? And then like 60% of you doesn't want to do that. But it's like, rather than take a minute or two to like kind of get a grip and realize like, yeah, you know what? Okay, let me do some of that and some of this, you know, so I can like sort of resonate with it more authentically, you know? You try to force yourself and then you judge yourself when it doesn't work, you know? So that was, you were one. I mean, obviously that's not just you that does that. But so that's, you can work that more on your own if you want. It'll be its own, you know, the section where we do the spiritual path clearing stuff, where you imagine, you know, this stuff and the self-judgement and self-rejection. I don't know that I'll make it a separate chapter though. It might just be, you know, all that we clear: fear, self-judgment and rejection, repression and denial, and vision blocking. But that's all good stuff to clear. So you could just redo that part. Well, your angels would love for you to keep redoing that. But yeah, cool. Well, thank you for filling out your surveys. Always helpful. Someone says, I really enjoyed the simplicity of this healing. Yes, at first it was like totally not going to be simplistic, and there was going to be like 9 things. And I'm like, all right, there's something underneath it all. I really enjoyed the simplicity of this healing, and I need to heal more that part of me that tends to go for the detailed and complex healing version. The legwork at the end was fun too. Yes, with the gold bottle brushes. Well, good. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. Heal the mini you that gets very complex and detail oriented when you meditate. Yeah, that could be really interesting. It seems like it's your mom in your space, but it's probably a part of you also. So yeah, you could heal those parts of you that are overly complex. So I'm glad you enjoyed the legwork and the healing design for today. Someone says, I've been intuiting that I really need to clear out the back of my auras and good karma windows to help make the job change, move, stuff happen faster, like taking big, bold steps. Am I reading that right? Thank you. I think, yeah, I think back of your aura is right on. But I might do it in a way that's maybe more, you know how we, like when we were reading like you on your spiritual path, and then, you know, what does fear that's healthy and gentle to get rid of, what does that look like on you? Does it look like a rock? Excuse me, a rock you're trying to pull? Does it look like, you know, something chains that you're wearing? You know, what does that baggage look like? So you could look at, you know, okay, you're moving forward on your job change / move path, and what's your rate of moving forward? You know, is it like 2 miles an hour? Is it like 20 miles an hour? Is it 80 miles an hour? And what's the healthy and gentle speed for you to move forward on it? And if you're moving slower than that, like what's slowing you down? You know, like what does it look like around you that is slowing you down? And I think a lot of it is behind you as you're walking on your path. You know, it's like strapped to your back and stuff. So yeah, that could be interesting. There could be certain auras too. Like if you go through the whole list of auras, you know, like all those Wei Chi auras and see which. That's overly complicated. I think, yeah, you could just look at yourself on your spiritual path and look at, you know, how fast you're moving forward, what's the healthy and gentle rate that's still optimal, and then how fast is that, and how fast are you going, and then just remove stuff, you know, and nourish yourself so that you're going at that rate. So yeah, I do agree with the back of the aura stuff. Good karma windows. I don't know that that is slowing you down. I don't think it is. Someone says, oh, that the person from before says, in order to get more of myself healing, I noticed that I need to work on presence and physical legs. Is this accurate? Are the physical leg channels only one way or up two ways, up and down? The big ones, I usually just imagine one that goes up, but in traditional Chinese medicine, there are meridians that go up and down. So, I mean, I guess depends on how detailed you want to get. You just want to imagine the big red earth energy channel coming up from the arch of the foot, then that's just up. But you could figure out which ones, you know, which meridians in your legs go down if you want to kind of balance it out more, if you feel like that's necessary. In order to get more of myself healing, I noticed that I need to work on presence and physical legs. See, I don't really understand what that means, to get more of myself healing. I need to work on presence and physical legs. I mean, physical legs, you mean unblocking like we did today? Or do you mean like working out and stuff? You probably mean healing, but I'm not sure what you mean by get more of myself healing. So I don't know where you're going with any of that. But yeah, I mean, your angels are always in the mood for you to work your legs, both physically and with healing. Maybe some foot massages. You could combine that with energy healing. But they tend to not, I mean, I don't know, you know, because like you said, sometimes you get over into the details. So sometimes like the back of your energy, the back of your auras, some of those get pretty blocked up. So that could be interesting to work on, like unblocking some of the back of your auras. So hope that helps. This is, hi Janet, I'm feeling better after the healing. I also healed along during the composite tunnel and clearing the back of my auras. I was feeling so down earlier. Feels like my sense of peace and self are quite fragile sometimes based on who/what is in my aura or circumstances. Is flower healing for sense of self for chakras 3, 5, and 7? It feels like my sense of peace and self are quite fragile. I mean, I think you're talking about your mood. And maybe self-esteem and maybe inner voice, peace of mind, like basically your mood. You know, I think it's I want to say it's the heart and the pericardium meridian, maybe the lung meridian too. Let me see. Yeah, I think your angels like lung and pericardium and heart meridians. You could work more those meridians and those Wei Chi auras, because they seem to have to do with what you're talking about, like mood and state of mind. So I'll type them out. So the lung, LU, lung meridian, and then the heart meridian, and then the pericardium, PC, pericardium meridian, for mood, state of mind, stuff like that. I think those auras get whacked, and well, they're more blocked than ideal, and so they just by being blocked, that doesn't help, and it weakens the meridians, but also because they're blocked, they get damaged more easily. Like the rips will be deeper if someone throws energy at you. So yeah, I would just maybe practice healing the auras for those meridians and those meridians themselves. That helps. And the 12 meridian playlist, if someone wants to know and doesn't know, it's linked in the info section of this live stream and later in the video info section. I label it as 12 meridian playlist. Alrighty, hope that helps. But is flower healing for sense of self, blah, 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 3, 4, and 7? I mean, you wouldn't really have to know if you just do flower healing for sense of self. Just do flowers and let them go wherever they need to go. Just have your angels check the flowers, and so you wouldn't need to know. 3 is more like taking action. 4 is motivation. 7 is identity, inspiration, confidence, stuff like that. So if I had to pick one of those chakras, 4th would be the one. Also 2nd though is emotions. So 4 and 2. But I think your angels like more those 3 meridians that I listed: lung, pericardium, and heart meridian. You could work those, heal them to the extent that's healthy and gentle. Have that intention. But yeah, I mean, that's good that you realize that. So cool. Someone says, I am releasing a lot of energy in my lower back, 1st and 2nd chakra area, but I can't tell if it's present life stubborn energy blocks or past life stubborn energy blocks. Does it matter? It does not matter. It is releasing anyway. Yeah, there you go. Doesn't matter. And I'm suddenly craving chocolate, but I'm not hungry. I feel like it's an other person in my space. Yeah. Yeah. So how I like to determine that is like, okay, if there was this magical way you could just have nobody in your space right now, would you still crave chocolate? And it looks like no. It looks like you're thirsty. But, I think like your sister's yelling at you and your sibling is yelling at you, and so it kind of sours your mood and makes you a little self-destructive. So yeah, it's somebody in your space. I mean, she's not that much in your space. She's more just yelling at you. And so that triggers stuff within you. So you could just clear your triggered energy that's causing you to get a little resistant and self-destructive. Someone says, let's see. Oh, about the Chicago snow report. Probably 12 inches of snow in Chicago. It was unexpected. Oh, come on. They expected a lot of terribleness, didn't they? Or was that just in the south and then the east? A foot of snow in Chicago. See, the good thing about Chicago is though they have like they're so Johnny on the ball with the. I mean, you don't think that when you live there, but when you move somewhere else, you're like, oh man, they were so good with that. You know, with all the snow plows and salt and stuff, they don't they don't screw around. You know, they're just like, we're gonna get off the roads. You know, of course, I used to live somewhere in Chicago. Last place we lived in Chicago, our parking spot was in this garage off an alleyway, and the alleyway never ever got plowed. And there was nobody like on that alley that would plow it for us. So that was quite awkward. Because we got snowed in and we had to wait for like the alleyway to melt. All the snow to melt. So we could get our car out. Crazy. Well, take care, stay safe, stay warm. Someone says, thank you so much. Feel so mellow. How nice is that? So, okay, so what part of the healing helped you feel that mellow? Oh, it seems like the meridian pathways helped the most, maybe. Also, the clearing fear and clearing anything that's blocking your vision. That seemed to be reassuring. Yeah, cool. Cool. I think the angels want me to confront another nurse practitioner who graduated, and you're mentioning that person's name, about destabilizing my patient twice in 4 months. She is resistant and blaming the patient, and I feel it's making her unsafe for more vulnerable patients and wanting to give her one more chance to reflect. Think my judgment hearts need to keep healing to do it best. Am I reading that right? Like 70% right. Generally the whole confront thing, I don't think your angels have ever said that word to you, confront. I think you hear it as confront, but I don't think they don't like that word, especially for you. They're like, we need you in less conflict, not more conflict. They're like, do you have tranquil, peaceful nights? No, you don't. So you need less conflict. They're like, stop martyring yourself to confront people. They're like, you need some peaceful nights is what you need, lady. So but there is a lot of truth to what you're hearing. It's just sort of like they're asking you to turn right and you're hearing turn left. You know, it's like sort of like you're turning kind of inside out what they're saying. And so it's becoming this like, okay, now I gotta confront somebody else. Your angels are like, oh, you're worried about your energy safety. They're like, you don't need to take on the whole world. So yeah, so step one in a low conflict way to help people to learn would be to talk to them on a on a subconscious level, like park bench communication, not in body at all. Just so after you've meditated, you know, and the angels set it up, you know, her angels and your angels pick an astral level that's as peaceful as possible and as conducive to understanding, mutual understanding as possible. And there's a nice park bench with some beautiful scenery that nourishes the both of you. You sit far away from each other on the same bench, and you make some message flowers. You hand them to the angels, and they edit them, and then they put them in front of her. And you're calm and you're peaceful about it, you know, and then, you know, during that time, maybe you suggest some angel classes for her, you know, but all through these flowers that you give to the angels so they can edit them, and nothing conscious, nothing like, you know, no big emails or anything. I mean, your angels love how you're big on honesty, you're big on transparency, but they're like, there are just different ways to go about it to get the same result with less damage to your psyche. I hope that makes sense. So yes, think peaceful. Think, okay, yes, A to B, but there's a peaceful route and then there's the confrontation route. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, there's, astral conversations, park bench communication, just subconscious communications. And then she takes astral classes in her sleep. And then, maybe the angels have you hint at it with her after she's graduated the astral classes. But maybe it's not even necessary at that point because she got the classes, that kind of idea. No more martyring yourself. Let's see. So I think you said more though before I stopped reading it. Think my judgmental parts need to keep healing to do it best. Am I reading that right? Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's just that you keep mishearing and doing it in the most high risk way possible. Okay. Cool. Well, let's see. I do have actually one announcement. We don't have to keep looking at base of skull points. All right. So this is the final healing for January, right? But just for the future, the Wednesday healings. I thought that some of the Wednesday healings, the only times I do 5 healings a month, right? There's a set of 3 and then this set of 2. And so the third in the set of 3 is a Wednesday healing. So I do 1 Wednesday healing a month. And I thought some Wednesdays I could do the post-healing chat because I thought, well, my husband's going to take off one of his live streaming nights because we both live stream on Wednesdays. But he's not going to take a night off on his Wednesday live streamings, which is fine. It's just so that way we know that in the foreseeable future, I won't be doing a post-healing chit chat on Wednesdays. On, that one Wednesday thing. Which is fine. It's just once a month. All right. So let's see. Is there any let's see. So it was just a teeny gardening update. I was able to go out and garden for like an hour yesterday, which was kind of funny because I wore a headlamp and I was doing it in the dark for a little bit of it. Because it gets dark so early. I don't get that motivated early, because I got to eat, I got to feed my pets and blah, 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 and meditate. And by the time I do that, it's all, mid-afternoon or something. So anyway, but I did get out there for about an hour and it was cold, but I was wearing a million layers and it was only like PNW cold. It wasn't Chicago cold, And the fun discovery that I had was that because it was cold enough that like the top layer of my front yard is like a wood chipped garden. And so there's wood chips, except in the garden beds. I probably should wood chip the garden beds, but I don't know. I get weird about that, but all the pathways are wood chips for sure. And there's supposed to be really thick layers of wood chips so the weeds don't grow. But over time, they break down. And so you keep having to replenish the wood chips so that the weeds don't grow, right? But, I didn't do that quickly enough in a lot of places. So there are like these patches where a bunch of grass grew up. And so in the summer to get that out it's work. I have like a digging pitchfork that's for digging so that the tines are really strong and you put it in the ground, you move it around, and you stab the ground a bunch of times to loosen it up, and then you take out the grass and shake it off and, you know, put it in the takeaway bin or something, and then you put wood chips all over it, nice and thick, right? So the fun discovery is that when I'm taking out the grass, you know, or in the weeds that have grown through, if it's like a big patch of weeds and grass, like if the ground is partially frozen, it all comes up as one big lump. Like even the dandelions with the roots and everything, as long as like the grass and as long as it was all growing together, it all comes up all at once. So it's like 10 times easier than it would be during the summer, which is totally funny. So I didn't make a ton of progress because I was only out there for an hour, but I made some good progress. Pulling up the weeds and putting down, you know, a thick layer of wood chips. It's only, you know, like 1/40th of what I have to do as far as weeding and wood chipping, but whatever. I don't like thinking about it. Like I just like thinking, I did a part. I did a part, but it was easier, ironically, because it was frozen. It was partially frozen at the surface. So that's kind of funny. Unexpected surprise. I guess surprises are inherently unexpected, but it was a positive surprise. Let's see what else. I guess that's it, really. I haven't checked the outdoor animal cams lately, so I can't report anything. I should check them. Should I check one now? Let's see. I don't know if I can pull it up right now, but I could try. Oops. Let's. I don't know if it'll pull up. I have right now I have 3 cams out there. The Wi-Fi signal from the camera is not very strong, so you kind of have to be near the camera. Pull up what you want. There you go. Oh, it's so cloudy out. It's so like foggy. Like either that or the camera has fog on it, but here's the water bowl. Nobody's at the water bowl right now. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that water bowl. It's like oh. Let's see who was at the water bowl. Come on. It's not going to show me. I'm too far away. Oh, well. Sorry. All right. Well, that's good enough. See. I can show you Izzy sleeping. Here's Izzy sleeping. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. There we go. So there's Izzy, our dog. He's sleeping. So that's his back. His back is black, so it's not very easy to see him right now. Let me see if I can move the light over there. See him better. There we go. There he is. So he's gonna get a dental cleaning without anesthesia. Supposedly there's this really good vet that can do it without anesthesia, which means it's like 1/5 of the cost. So that's good. So that'll happen early next month before the next healing. But anyway, we'll let him keep sleeping. All right, you guys, you're amazing. Hope you have a good afternoon, evening, whatever's next for you. Oh, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did after the last healing, and I'm going to just do nothing tonight. So I'll email everybody and say that I'm doing nothing, and then I'll do the video chapters and the healing summary and send out the survey tomorrow, Monday. Okay. And, you know, there's no huge rush anyway, because this is the last healing of the set. But I will review your surveys when I plan the first February set in early February. And the February sets have to do with emotional wellness and sexuality, and also clearing denial, any type of denial, in order to speed up your forward progress. So that should be pretty interesting. And then March's theme has to do with abundance and safety. So that should be very nice. So let me put my website address back up. My website address is jwhealing.com. All right. And so feel free to check it out if you want. Okay, bye. We'll do some butterflies. Bye. Stay warm and safe, everybody. You're amazing.